Hi everybody.
Welcome back to our channel.
Yes, we're in the same shirts and clothes.
Yes, we are.
We have to film as much as we possibly can while we're together before we film individual stuff. So, today we're going to film a story time. Part 1. This is her story about crazy people that she has met, particularly boys.
Yes.
And then the next one's going to be about mine, because mine's like the longest fucking story ever. It was kind of
awkward whenever you were telling me. I'm not gonna lie,
she fell asleep on me.
I fell asleep on her.
Apparently I'm not that good of a storyteller.
I love her, and I'm not saying she's not a bad storyteller.
The itis kicked in because she had like a big ass burrito.
I did. We both had big ass burritos today.
But I was sitting up and she was laying down and she passed out, so.
I was laying literally on the floor and I passed the fuck out. I really was.
Alright, let's get into the story time. Talk about your crazy people.
Crazy face?
Yes.
Okay, so me and Ashley have known each other since we were in high school. And my whole crazy face story starts whenever, I mean, obviously this is after we had already started becoming friends.
Also, we're going to be changing their names because obviously we're not trying to, get
I'm not
sued for nothing.
And I'm not trying to put anybody's like
business
drama out there, even though this was like way back in the past, we're all adults now and everything, but
mine's more recent, so I can get in trouble.
she literally could get in trouble, but for me it's a little bit different. So we've kind of like gone our separate ways. Most of my crazy faces.
She has 2 crazy faces. I just have one that is gone way the fuck out of hand.
2 crazy faces. They're not as crazy as hers though, but we'll get into that one. But for my crazy face, it starts I'm trying to think. So it actually was a friend of mine who introduced me to this crazy face. And for the sake of this video, we're not going to call him by his actual name. We're just going to call him John. That's what we're going to call him. So, and John. My friend of a friend's name is Susan, is what we're going to say. So, I had met a friend that introduced me to Susan, basically. And so me and Susan really hit it off, and then, we hung out and stuff. Well, we didn't really hang out. We just kind of like hung out at school and stuff.
Yeah.
And we like texted and we, talked on the phone or whatever. We were, pretty good friends and stuff. And then one afternoon, I think it was like at lunchtime, she introduced me to John, who had just so happened to be a friend of hers. Now it was really strange because like she acted really strange around John, and I didn't know why it was she acted that way. I didn't see exactly, how weird things were with her until like later on. So in the beginning, it was more like she kind of like acted like anytime he came around, she was like, "Oh, hey, John, how are you doing?" Like it was kind of awkward, like an awkward encounter with him. And but I mean, I thought that they were good friends and stuff. I just thought they were just that was just the way that they were. And then later on, when it got even more awkward, was when I think we were walking down the hallway, and the next thing I know is she literally like grabs me and literally shoves me right in front of her, so I'm like a human shield, and it's almost like she was ducking and diving John for some reason. And why the fuck she was doing that, I have no idea. I never asked her, maybe until like maybe the 5th or 6th time she had did that to me. I had really gotten fed up, and I was like, you know what, look, I think I had texted her, or I maybe called her on the phone, or I think I may have confronted her in person. I had asked her, but it's been so long I don't even remember how it happened. But I do remember that I did ask her, look, I'm curious to know, why is it that you are always acting so strange and awkward around John? And at first she was like really hesitant about telling me, and I'm thinking, I mean, is it really bad or something? Like, why is it that you don't want to like tell me? And I'm like, you're my friend. I mean, I feel like friends should tell each other things. Yeah. Secrets and stuff, we have our secrets and stuff, which we will not tell nobody. But, I told her, it's okay. I'm not going to say nothing to nobody. I was like, what's between you and me? And so she had finally, because I really was not going to like end that conversation without her telling me, because if that was going to happen again the next day, I was really going to end up losing my shit that day. So I was like, I need to find out what's going on. So she finally told me the reason why it is that she was ducking and diving him. So she said that when they first started talking to each other, you know, they were talking on the phone and stuff like that when they first met. Apparently John out of nowhere had asked her, you know, what kind of lotion does she use?
Which is creepy.
When
you first meet a person,
it's a little bit awkward.
That's one of the first questions. That's weird.
That's one of the first questions you're gonna ask, like a person who you want to be friends with. I mean,
that's a little weird.
That's a little bit weird, you know. And
sketchy.
Thinking about it now, maybe I would have thought, okay, maybe like if it was like if you had just met this person, it was maybe like a couple months maybe down the line, and he was asking, well, what kind of lotion do you use? You know, maybe he was trying to get you like a present or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe. But if we have only known each other for like a couple weeks, and now you're asking me, well, what kind of lotion do I use? If you are a guy, especially, what the hell? I don't even know what you're doing with that lotion exactly.
Ew.
I don't know. I don't want to know. Just please. I don't know. It just, things like that popped up into my brain. And so that's what led me to actually understand why it was she was acting so weird around him. Like as if he was like anytime that he came around, she'd just run away from him like he was the plague or something, you know? So, I think it was the next day, you know, following after this conversation, I eventually started ducking and diving him every single time he came near me, because he would start talking to me and having conversations with me as if like we were best friends and stuff. I didn't mind that because, you know, when I get to know somebody and they're cool, sorry about the biter, I've got issues. So
she just lighted it
I just
back there,
just
so
back
she
there,
was
so.
in her hand.
Yeah, so but where was that again? I forgot.
You were starting to duck and dodge him.
Yeah, I have a really short attention span. I'm sorry. So, yeah, I was starting to duck and dive him and everything. It got so far to the point where I even asked Ashley and another friend of ours to actually.
I had to hide her.
She had to hide me in the bathroom when he was coming. He was walking towards us.
We had to be like, whoosh,
they both shoved me because the bathroom was like literally like maybe 2 feet behind us.
Yeah, we're like,
and we turned right around. Let's go back around. So they literally pushed me into the girls' bathroom, and then he saw that. Of course, like obviously he saw me right there in front of him. So of course I can imagine that made him think like, okay, you know, Susan's been doing this to me now Marissa's doing that to me, like what the fuck, you know? So we went on for that for I don't really know how long, but we went on that. Me and Susan were doing that for a very long time, until one afternoon we were outside. We were eating lunch all together. It was me, Ashley, and a bunch of other friends on top of that.
Along with
sorry.
Sorry. Susan.
We're gonna scratch that part out. But Susan, we were out there with Susan. It's okay. It just slipped out. It's okay.
Okay, so we were out there. We were at lunch. Me, Marissa, some other friends, and Susan. Okay, continue.
And so we were out there, and then, you know, we were laughing, having a good time, and then all of a sudden, I see James, or John, I said John, right? Damn it!
The fake name is John.
The fake name is John.
His name is not James either. It's
just for the sake of the video, his name is James. But John, all of a sudden, came walking towards us, and of course, what do me and we start doing? We start trying to
Susan!
think that me and Susan. Okay. Okay. I've gone too deep now.
I'm gonna bleep some things.
Okay,
I'm gonna figure out how to bleep.
Anyway, so me and Susan, we try to figure out like an escape plan at that point, but it's too late. He's literally like 2 feet away from us at this point.
Now Susan is a heifer, cause Susan decided she was gonna run and leave her there.
Well, before that part came over, he wanted to confront us and like find out what
he asked,
our problem
why
was.
are you guys still are avoiding
like
them?
Why are you guys always trying to avoid me all the time? Like he was like really wanting to know, and he wasn't even asking Susan, he was asking me, like I was the one who started it.
Susan and her heifer self decided she wanted to run away. Now back then I was a shyer human. I didn't always speak up when I should have. But that moment pissed me off so much. I looked at Susan. I was like, "Really, Susan?
Like you're
just gonna leave her like that? You know you're wrong.
I bullshit
you know
you're
wrong."
Everybody that was witnessing this, like did nothing while I was
They didn't say anything until I said
they
something.
were watching this whole entire spectacle like it was a fucking soap opera or was something on reality TV.
Again, they didn't say anything until I told Susan.
She
like,
was
you were
the
wrong
only person
for that.
that
And
stood
then
up for
everybody
me.
started chiming in, and I was like, oh, now you want to talk. All right.
And so finally, like, she really, like, honestly, as soon as, like, Ashley stepped in, Susan turned right back around. She came right back. And then, of course, you know, at that point, obviously, Susan, she threw me underneath the bus at that point. She really did. And so there was nothing more I could say at that point. So what does John end up doing? He ends up walking away, and then the bell rings. And that was pretty much it at that point. And all I could say was that until like school was over with, I was boiling. I was livid. And so on my way home from school that day, I took the bus at this time. I was on the bus and I get a text message from Susan. And Susan finally decides that she wants to say, I'm really sorry for doing that to you out there. I really didn't mean that. And honestly, at that point, quite frankly, I was at a point where I was like, I don't want to even talk to this bitch no more. I don't. I'm sorry. But I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to say nothing to her, you know. And honestly, when I say that bitch, I don't mean that she's really a bitch. It's just the way, you know, I'm just saying, you know, how we just refer to our girlfriends and stuff, you know. But I was like, it's okay. I personally do not care if she wants to talk to me anymore at this point. I don't want to talk to her because I swear if I talk to her, I'm really going to end up losing my shit at this point. So I was like, I don't want to say nothing to her. But then she did actually send me a message. I didn't have no intention of saying nothing to her because I felt like it was not my fault this whole entire thing had started, you know. So I told her, you know, hey, you know, it's okay, but don't let it happen again. And so we didn't let it happen again after that. So after the school, well, I had ended up actually, after all this had happened, about a few months later, I had ended up actually finding out that me and my family were moving back to Panama due to some...
She left me.
I ended up abandoning her, basically.
She left me.
I did. I was really upset about it, too. I was really upset about leaving, because I really, San Antonio almost felt like home to me. Like, I really was like, I was feeling like we were establishing some kind of a foundation there, but, you know, that ended up getting, like...
long-lasting best friend.
Yeah, I was really upset about that, and I thought I was gonna be, you know, going to school there, maybe even graduating, but that didn't happen, so... but anyway, so after, like, this was probably like a year after all this had happened. Guess who ends up adding me on Facebook?
Crazy face.
Crazy face. So John ends up adding me on Facebook, and I was very hesitant about accepting his friend request because I'm thinking I don't understand why he's adding me on here, but of course, what do I do? Because, you know, I'm a nice person. I'm a bit of a pushover. I was like, what the hell? I'd go and accept it. And so I don't know if it was immediately right after that, but starting right after I had accepted his friend request, he had messaged me, basically just talking to me like a normal human being. And I guess he had wanted to know exactly what was that whole spectacle that happened whenever, you know, during lunch during that day. And I was like, the spectacle that you had caused in front of all of my friends, you mean? Like, that wasn't me. That was all of you, sir, okay? So I didn't do nothing. I was just minding my own business. And I was guilty by association, unfortunately. So, you know, I told him, you know, look, I mean, I apologize, you know. I really kind of like at the same time I don't know what I'm apologizing for. I mean, I guess to a certain extent, I guess I kind of did bully him. You
didn't really bully him. You took your word of a friend that he was weird, and then you started to avoid him.
Exactly. And so I admit that I was shitty for doing that, and I told him that I'm sorry, and that was really wrong of me, and I will, you know, I'm sorry. I was guilty by association about that. And, you know, he accepted my apology, but then he wanted to know more details, like as if like, you know, it's like he wanted to know more from Susan's point of view, why it is that she was acting that way. And I'm thinking, why don't you ask Susan? Why are you asking me? Because Susan apparently had him blocked. And I'm like, for good reason. So, you know, because he's a crazy face, of course. And so I was like, I don't know what goes on between you and, you know, Susan's friendship or whatever, but that's between you and her. Because he wanted to know from me exactly why it is that Susan was constantly avoiding her. And I said, I never told him why, obviously, because I felt like if I told him, like, that would put I'm not one to throw my friends underneath the bus like that, you know?
Even though she did it to you.
Even though she did some dirty shit to me, I'm not about to do that because, you know, I'm a firm believer in karma and, like, karma's a bitch.
Karma.
And I ain't fucking with that. So, and then, you know, after that, you know, we went on with our lives until one day he had, oh God, how did this all start? I think what had happened is during this time I was actually, while I was living in Panama, you know, I was in search of, you know, a companion, and I decided to actually join an online dating website. I'm not going to say what, but y'all know probably there's plenty of them out there. And,
so many.
You know, at that time, you know, I was putting myself out there, and I was also talking to, you know, a lot of guys and stuff, and, you know, because a lot of them were not based in Panama, some of them were based in, like, maybe somewhere in the States or something like that. So, you know, anybody who had like a webcam, we would just talk and get to know each other, and there are sometimes some really weird stuff would happen that I'm just gonna tell you, nothing involved me personally, but it was just, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But
there's some creeps.
There's some creeps out there, y'all know. And you know, at that time I was pretty comfortable, you know, with talking to people like through video chat and stuff. And so it just so happened that Facebook at that time had invented a video chat option at that time. So
I don't remember.
I think
I used it.
I only used it, you know, maybe for my family and stuff because my family wanted to keep in touch with me. But it just so happened that Crazy Face actually wanted to video chat with me. And what else did I do? I ended up actually accepting that. And so
I can't judge her because my story is so worse.
Yeah. So I ended up saying, okay, yeah, sure, that's cool and everything. And you know, he still went on kind of pushing to demand exactly what was going on with Susan. And I'm like, dude, why are you asking me this?
I don't
freaking know. If I knew, I still wouldn't tell you because you don't betray your best friends like that, you know? So I felt like if Susan has anything to say to you, she will say it to you. But until then, you will have to respect her privacy, okay? You know, I mean, I understand she's trying to protect herself. I get that. I would too. I should have done that then, but I didn't because I felt like, okay, you know, I stated my piece. I don't think I need to go any further, but I did push further. So after that, you know, we went on with our lives yet again. And then he had sent me another message on Facebook, and he basically wanted my opinion on this video that, I don't know, I think he had posted on his page at that time. It was basically a video of him. He was singing a Spanish song, because I'm half Hispanic, so I speak Spanish fluently, and he wanted to basically know my opinion on his Spanish to see like how good it was basically. And I was like, okay, sure. And I was like, all right. I mean, I guess, you know, I mean, I'm flattered by somebody who would ask me that because I don't think my Spanish is the best in the world. I mean, but if somebody else would say that, I'm like, okay, go, okay.
I can't speak Spanish, so it's all good.
And she took Spanish with me too, so.
I mean, I know some, but like, I'm not at all.
That's okay.
In a fluent
That's
era.
okay. But so, he had one. I don't think he had posted this, but I think he had just sent me the video to see what my opinion was on his Spanish. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like, this was the most cringe-worthy video that I had ever watched live in my whole entire life. Mm-hmm. There was even like a tiny salsa number.
Oh my God, no.
During the video.
Not the salsa number.
And I was like, oh my God, this is so awkward. And so, what did I say? I mean, of course, I'm not gonna I'm not one to judge somebody's performance and stuff. I mean, I'm critical of myself a lot of the time. But it's like, you know, I don't want to do that to somebody else, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, it was good and stuff like that, you know, and great, you know? And so
she lied, basically.
I lied. I really did, because I was like, this is really freaking awkward, man. So, you know, following after that, you know, he would still message me and like, so basically, at that point, you know, he would send me messages. Most of the time I would just ignore it, or I would keep my answers pretty short and simple because I wanted him to get the hint. I don't want to be friends with you. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry at the same time, because I don't know where you got the idea that I wanted to be friends and everything. I just felt like it was, and honestly, I don't understand where you felt like at this point we should be best friends. Because I'm like, I just wanted to tell you, I knew that that was wrong, just from one human being to another, just to say that, you know? And so at that point, you know, he would always constantly keep sending me messages and stuff. I'm like, dude, do you not take a freaking hint? I don't want to be friends with you. And then, eventually, Ashley had said to me, I don't know why in the hell you just don't block him already.
I pretty much...
This took like 5 or 6 years later for me to realize I needed to block him.
I was like, why would you block this boy? What the hell? Why are you still...
I don't know.
You should have blocked him immediately.
I should have, but I didn't. But I know better now. So I finally decided, you know what? I can't do this. So I said, you know what? John needs to be blocked. He needs to be, you know, removed from my life. I don't want nothing to do with him. And still to this day, he still tries to go ahead and add me on all social media. And I'm like, dude, do you not get a hint? I do not like you, okay? Like, I don't want to be friends with you, okay? I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
So, yeah, that was her first story.
That was one of my first stories. All right.
So, this is story number 2 for her.
A crazy... Well, not the same crazy face.
It's a different crazy face. Started out in high school. We both know this boy.
We both know him.
We don't remember how we met him.
Yeah.
It was between friends.
It was between friends. That's all I know.
But I also knew his weirdness as well.
Yeah.
And I also thought it was weird.
Yeah.
How he was with a lot of the girls that were in our group.
He was very weird with a lot of girls in general. Like, it was really freaking creepy. Like,
he didn't do it with me. I guess I gave up a vibe of, yeah, don't.
I don't.
I gave up that vibe. Don't leave me alone.
I wish I could have, like, she could have, like, rubbed that on me a little bit, because I am one of those people. I'm very bubbly and I can be sociable at times.
I'm not that sociable. High school was the worst part for me. Well, technically middle school was my least sociable moments, but
high school was actually my probably most sociable time, I think.
High school was when I started to get a little more sociable, but I still not that much. Still weren't there yet.
She'll get there.
I'm better now. Way better now. But like back then,
I say that as if, like, honestly, I'm like a social butterfly, but I'm just saying.
Like back then, you could talk to me. I'll look at, if a cute boy talked to me, I just look at him like.
We'd be so oblivious about it. Like, if they ever
like
noticed.
I went to a squeaky voice. So, hi. Hi. He's like, "What's your name?" Ashley. He's like, "What?" Ashley. See, I could not speak.
It was very, like, I felt like I was very oblivious when a guy, especially if it was a cute guy that liked me,
yes.
I'd be like, I'm like, me? I thought you were talking about the girl behind me or like, something.
Well, this is not the point of the
story.
Okay,
so anyways, back to my crazy face story. So, yeah, so this guy, we both knew mutually because, you know, like I said, it's been so long, I don't remember how we met. Probably through another mutual friend, but that's as far as we remember. So, for the sake of this video, like I said, we're not going to go by the real names. We're just going to make sure that their names remain anonymous.
Silent.
But
silent. For
the sake of this, his name was James, is what we're going to say. So James, let's just say he was a bit awkward around the girls.
He was real awkward, but he would hit on all of the girls.
Like, he would really, like, shoot his shots at almost every girl.
Shoot his shot at almost, yes.
I'm just going to say this, and I know it's going to sound really appropriate.
He was a senior. That's let us know.
Oh,
I was a freshman,
he was.
and he was 19. I was a freshman, so I was, like, 15 around that time. She was 16.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was 19, so he was a senior already.
Yeah, that was just, that was not.
So he would always go for the younger ones, which was a little weird.
Just a bit.
And, like, one of our friends, she was, like, 14, about to be 15, and he hit on her, too, like, after her, though. Yeah. It was weird. It was, like, a lot of weird.
There's a lot of weirdness with him. There was a very weird vibe with him.
Shit.
Like, some weird stuff. And so, basically what ended up happening with James is, I'm trying to remember, like, how this even happened. Like, I think it was just, like, I don't know. God, it's been so long. I'm trying to remember where to start. Like, I mean, we were hanging out a lot, like, during lunch.
We were all hung out, so it was like
we'd always hang out at lunch, you know, before school started if we had some time, or
we try to meet up before school started.
Yeah, and then, like, we meet up after school, like, you know, when the buses were out and stuff. We just hang out there and then, you know, whatever. And so I don't know. I'm trying to remember how this all happened, but to kind of cut my long story short, essentially, James had, I guess I think somebody had told me that James had a crush on me, and I thought, you know, it was kind of awkward when I found out that he had a crush on me, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not. I don't really like him like that, you know. I mean, I think somewhere in the back of my, I think like honestly, like outside, like, you know, obviously on my Facebook, like, oh, like that's cool. But in my head, I was like, I really don't like him like that. Like he's not really like good with the girls at all. Like he's just got some weak game when it comes to girls, like really bad. Although I guess he tried to act as though he really had a lot of good game, but no, it's bad. No. Oh no. You're mean. So, but I mean, honestly, it was just really awkward, and I think I don't.
And it's not like the cute awkward where you're like, oh, no.
It was the awkward.
It was you're kind of weird awkward.
Like kind of weird awkward. Like you just made me feel very uncomfortable. And so
I don't even think you two were even dating. I think he just assumed.
He did assume that. I'm gonna be on. Okay, so basically, cut long story short again. He had asked me out, and during this time, you know, I was on search for. I don't think I was really on search for a boyfriend. Not necessarily. I mean, of course, if there was a guy that I liked, that I was attracted to, that would have asked me out, I would have said, you know, in a second, yes. But, you know, he was the first guy to ask me out, and during that time, I had very low self-esteem, and, you know, I don't think I really had I think I had very high self-worth about myself in some way, but I think my self-esteem was very low at that time, so instead of just being truthful with him and saying that I just don't think I don't like you like that, I like you better as a friend, I just went out and gave him a flat out, yeah, sure, let's go out and stuff. And so I'm pretty sure he was really excited about that afterwards. We never really went out on a date or anything like that. We just hung out most of the time at school and everything. And when we were out at lunch and stuff, he would just like literally, he'd always cuddle me all the time. Like I'm gonna show you a demonstration. I know it's gonna sound really weird, but
we're close, we're friends, it's all good.
This is how he was all the time. He would put his hands around my waist like this a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
And this right here, if you could see Ashley and how she is, like that was kind of me all the time.
That at all.
And this is what he would do that would really kind of like weird me out. Is like he would have his arms around me like that, and he would just poke me in the stomach like that. And you see, that was my reaction.
She poked my fat. I don't appreciate it.
But that was what he did, and I was just like, why the fuck is he poking me like this? Like, and I think it was because during that time we used to do that like with each other.
We would play around.
You know,
like everyone.
We would have like, a poke game. You know,
like if you can poke the next person.
You know how on Facebook how they had the like, poke thing where you would poke somebody.
Yeah, we did that in real life. Though.
We did that. We just like
we never poked bellies though.
That was no,
I think like maybe once, but not really.
Yeah.
We were always like this.
I mean, we might just like that, and then we're like maybe in the belly, and then
we'll do this, and then we would run because the next person would come after us because it was a game.
It was just a game that we played. We were just like little childish back then, but you know that's what we did. It was fun, young. You know. And so I guess he wanted to chime in and do that, and that just wasn't really like what we did. And like so when he
did a weird sensual like.
It was like in my navel region, let's just say that, and I was just like, this is not cute at all.
Please stop.
So just please stop. And it was like, I think the weirdest thing was that he asked me if I had like, as far as like a belly button, he said, do you have an innie or outie? I didn't even know what the fuck that was at that time. I don't understand
what the purpose of that was. What if she said she had any? What are you gonna do with that?
I'm like, what the fuck difference does it matter what kind of a belly button I have? Like what I'm sorry, that was just weird to me. And so, I think this
essentially y'all broke up because I remember the one thing.
I don't like to say we broke up. We weren't even together.
We weren't together, but I said essentially, like whatever.
Essentially, in his eyes, we broke up.
We were with another friend, and we were with James, and we were walking up the stairs, and he was like, "Well, I was gonna give Marissa my class ring, but I guess not now." And I was like, I looked at him.
She had told me this, I think, and I was like, oh hell no. So I'm not gonna tell him.
No, but I looked at him like, but y'all weren't dating. Well, but why?
Yeah.
You weren't really dating.
No, this was actually. Oh, that was after I had left. I remember that was when I was in Panama.
No, it wasn't when you were in Panama.
Oh yeah. He did.
You were still at school, and and you two. I don't know if what you said. I think you were like, I just want to be friends or something.
Yeah.
Eventually, he got the hint that you didn't want to be with him, so he was just like, but he said, I guess not now, and I was just like, but you.
When he was like talking about the class ring, I'm like, dude, like when. I'm sorry, like I guess that's cute, like if you're with the guy you really are attracted to, but I don't know. That's kind of
that was weird.
It was weird, so but I just remembered I had another crazy face story.
What?
I did.
She has 3 stories, guys.
I have another crazy face story. This is the one about the fake phone number.
Yes, I remember that fake phone number. Oh my god. This is funny. A short ass story.
This one's funny as
shit.
This
is a short ass story, but it's hilarious.
So it was, of course, we were, this is when we were still in high school. And I remember because at this time, I don't know what was going on with me, but I would have these panic attacks out of nowhere. I didn't like to be in like a classroom filled with a lot of people. And obviously you're in school, you're going to be in a classroom filled with a lot of people.
Well, to be fair, she wasn't used to that too, because there was times she was homeschooled to like she had switched back and forth because
I wasn't happy with that. So I needed to kind of get away from that sometimes. So what do? I wouldn't say I lied. I would actually tell the teacher, I wasn't feeling good. I was feeling nauseous. So they would, send me to the nurse's office. They send me with the note to the nurse's office. And I would just lay down in her office for a little bit, right? And, the thing that was crazy that the nurse actually timed that shit. Like, she wouldn't let you stay in there too long. Mm-hmm. And so I was only, like, laying down for maybe 30 minutes, I think. And, my time was up. So I finally signed out. And I literally just took my time walking back to classroom because I feel like, class is going to be over in like 15 minutes. I'm not going to even like try to, I'm just going to try to kill time basically. So from the nurse's office to the front lobby, I guess, like where, where everybody was like switching classes and stuff, there was a girl's bathroom. So I went to the girl's bathroom. I went to the bathroom. And then I come right out and I decided to just sit on the bench because it's literally 5 minutes before the bell is about to ring. And I just sit there minding my own business, just kind of like casually walking about. And there's this kid that he looks like he's a kid basically. And he kind of walks around me, kind of like not like directly looking at me, but then he's just kind of like looking around like he's lost. And I'm just not paying any mind to him and everything, right? And then all of a sudden he approaches me and he's like, oh, hey, I have a question for you. And I was like, I think I'd asked him like if he's lost because I was like, he was really lost. Not that I knew where the fuck he needed to go anyway, but I was like, if you're lost, I could probably get you somebody who could show you where to go. So, he was like, yeah, I just have a question. And I was like, okay. And he was like, well, just curious, what does it take for me to get to know a pretty girl like you? Oh. And I was like, excuse me? And he was like, hey, we started, he started talking. And honestly, I really was just kind of like, I was just sitting there kind of looking at him, just kind of like, listening to him, like with all his corny pickup lines and stuff. And I'm just kind of just letting him go on and everything. I was like, yeah, and everything. Because I'm a petty bitch sometimes. I really can be, especially if you come to me with corny pickup lines. Like, just be yourself. That's all I say. So I'm like, oh, okay, And then the weirdest freaking thing that he had actually said to me, and mind you, I haven't given him any indication that I want to go any further beyond this conversation with him. He starts talking about, well, if we were seeing each other and this and that, maybe, I can call you and like, I'm a really good singer, I can like sing you to sleep and stuff like that. And I was like,
sing you to sleep? The fuck boy?
I was like, what?
The fuck boy?
I was like, yeah, he must have been like one of them fuck boys probably. Fuck boy. Seriously, like fuck boy written like all over. Like he had like.
That was back in the day before fuck boys were.
Players, what we called them back then, I guess. But like this was like.
He tried to be.
This was like he got the fuck boy aura all over him. So yeah, so basically he had asked me for my phone number, and so I gave him a phone number.
It wasn't her phone number.
It wasn't my phone number. I bullshit you not. I was thinking about giving him my brother's phone number if I really wanted to be shitty and see my brother pick it up. Because my brother is like very, very, even now, I'm 25 years old. I forgot my freaking age. I'm gonna be 26 this year.
You are 25 and you turn 26.
I'll be turning 26 this year, and my brother is 2 years older than me, and he's still so overprotective of me. Like, he's still to this day. Even then, he was overprotective of me. I forgot my age. I'm just a little bit slow at times. But anyway, so I figured if I did that, you know, he'd probably like lay off of me, basically, right? But I didn't give. But honestly, I never gave him my brother's phone number. I just made a phone number up, is what I did.
So, I can chime in now because she told me about it and I was like, that's hilarious. And then we're walking, going to our class, mind you. I think we're going to theater arts, right?
Yeah, something
I think
like
we're
that.
going.
Or we were heading. I think it was at the end of the day when we were heading out. I think, or something.
I know. No, I know we were walking towards a place.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We were heading back to class.
Yeah, we were heading back to class. So, this boy. Now, I didn't know what the boy looked like. He runs up and he stops her, and he's like, "Hey, so I think you accidentally gave me the wrong phone number."
Speak of the devil.
I think you gave me the wrong phone number or something. And I was looking at her like, bitch, what the fuck?
And then I played along with it. I was like, let me see that phone number again.
She did. She would really play along.
I was like,
let me see. Is that really wrong?
I was like, okay, that's my phone number. Yeah. Like, what? You sure?
You sure?
Like, you called?
Did you type the right number in?
Yeah. And I was like, that's my phone number. And he's like, okay, well, I'll try again. Mm-hmm. So that was the second time, mind you. And so the third time.
There was a third time?
There was a third time.
I wasn't around for the third time.
The third time was actually my last class. It was like it was towards the end of the day where I was actually walking towards. I was trying to make a clear
exit to the bus.
To exit to the bus, basically. And of course he found me. And
it's like, wouldn't you think though, if a girl gave you the wrong phone number, why do you keep going back to that girl and kind of talk to her?
Yeah, exactly.
That clearly is a sign saying, "Hey,
but he was so gullible. He really thought that it was actually my phone number, and I was like, I did him wrong. I did him real bad.
Well, yeah, you kind of did.
I did that.
But at the same time, again, he should have had the common sense of being like, oh, she didn't want to. Okay.
Which is that's what led to our third encounter. Whenever I finally found him, I decided to kind of tell him like, you know, I'm sorry. I just don't think this is gonna work out between us, basically. So yeah, I was like, yeah. And so oh my God, the look on his face was just like, he was like in shock. He was just like, he couldn't believe it. And like, I felt like a real bitch after that. And so yeah, that was one crazy face. That was the third crazy face.
So that's the end of part 1. You will see a part 2 with my long ass story of crazy face.
Yeah.
So hope you like and subscribe.
Hope you like the story too.
Yeah. Hope it was entertaining.
Yes.
Mine's going to be slightly entertaining with a slight of a cautionary tale. Please, like, don't do the stupid shit I did.
Please God, don't.
You will learn. Okay.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.